let's get straight into it, man. So this past week, the man Dak Prescott's job is under fire. The boys Jerry Jones, he don't get it. I'm trying to figure it out. Pat, maybe you could break it down for him. You the Cowboys fan here, the
Right, right.
correspondent for the Cowboy Nation of all
Uh,
millions of y'all. So maybe
well, I
y'all could
mean,
put some perspective.
I'll be honest. I'm not quite sure that they will always reconcile with my takes, but it lacks a lot of delusion. I honestly don't know what Jerry was thinking beyond Jerry being Jerry, seeing an offensive piece and wanting to go get it. I mean, I thank God over the last few years he finally put some money behind defense, so we solid there. But, now he's like, all right, we got to figure this offense thing out. And, anything that we know about Jerry is he's going to do something aggressive. And so he's going to aggressively try to make Dak uncomfortable to make him better, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's valid. I guess that's what he's doing, but how does that really help the psychology of your quarterback when you doing that? That don't really sound like something you should really do. You should. It's
Facts.
better to try to get him help instead of trying to bring in other guys because you already got Will Greer and Cooper Rush in there that have already kind of played some regular season games. So
Right.
and also we're able to get wins while Dak was injured the previous 2 years. Those like 4 games. I think it was like 4 games last year, 4 games the year before. Like he always is due to miss a few games. And I could
Right.
understand maybe you want somebody else, but you get a guy who's either going to be hurt or who's going to be a star next. So it's like, where's the correlation to it? It just don't make sense to me.
I agree. I mean, like you said, the psychology thing, man. I mean, I think we all know that Jerry's psychology is Jerry's psychology, So he doesn't follow by everybody else's rules. And we've seen that, time and time again. The man to trade his best player or just not sign his best player. And you like, bro, why would you let him walk? I mean, just because he don't like him. So man, honestly, I agree with that. I don't know the talent of Trey Lance. I don't know why San Francisco moved off of him. Like why would
That's
San
true.
Francisco move off of this young guy who y'all traded heaven and high waters to move up and go and get him? So I mean, I don't understand that either. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, Brock Purdy did Brock Purdy things and it was cool, but I think you give the man his job back, after being hurt. So I think it's
Yeah,
interesting.
that is true because they traded. I saw something recently too where it showed how they traded for like the number 3 pick to Miami, and with that pick, Miami was able to get Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, and some other players
Yes.
throughout the history of that pick that they traded up for. And it's like, and what have you gotten out of that? Yeah, you might have had more playoff wins than Miami in the past couple of years, but you haven't even gotten to a bowl since then. You haven't really done anything. You've just been coming up short in the NFC
Right.
Championship game.
Right. I mean, because
And
that's what
your
I was
offense
gonna say.
hasn't truly improved outside of Debo and McCaffrey when it comes to actual, winning games and being consistent. Because without it, if McCaffrey or Debo aren't hot out the backfield, most likely it's not really
Right.
doing
It's
anything.
not. It's
So
not shaking. And so, that's to that point. Like I mean, is Trey Lance really that much of a threat with them doing that after moving so much? Because you know what you did to get this. But in that same breath, man, I think both teams are in a state of being aggressive, and trying to get a championship in the next 2-3 years. Um, so, if Dak doesn't work out, like something that I would like, can you pull this up? When is Dak's contract over? So when is Dak's contract over? Looking at that, when is Trey Lance's contract over? Because of course he was drafted not too long ago, so I believe he's on a 3-year or 4-year deal, right? And then he had to have re-signed by now because I think it's been 3 years. And so the fact that just the contracts are not going to work, having those two contracts on our books, with trying to grow a team, a Super Bowl team, and the production that we were getting out of those guys after getting those contracts, it isn't going to work And so I like that they're moving away from them. You know, I do like both players. I love Zeke, even though he's from Ohio State. Let's go blue. And, you know, Dak, I like his story. He's a hard fighter. You know, he's one of those guys he's a warrior. You know what I mean? And you want one of those type guys on your team. But in that same breath, the production that you're getting for the money that you're paying it's kind of like you got two Russell Westbrooks on your team, you know, and not to slander or send a shot at Russ because Russ is a great player, Hall of Famer, but the production's starting to drop.
Yeah, that's valid. That's valid, man. And Dak hasn't been in the league long, but I think we're also with this new wave of quarterbacks that we started to see a few years ago. We have to also remember that like they're not the same type of quarterbacks that we grew up seeing with Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Phillip Rivers. Those guys could last 15, 20 years because they weren't running. But now with this new wave, Cam, Dak, Lamar, who else? Like just Josh Allen, these quarterbacks are not going to be able to last as long. So we're going to see times where we're like, dang, just like that, the career's over. They're calling it quits. But it's like you got to look at what's the history behind all that, you know? Like Tom Brady, he's only missed like one season, you know, off of injury. Peyton Manning, I don't remember him missing that much. I think he missed like his last season with Indy, he missed like a good portion of it. But like with Dak, if you take an accumulation of his games, it could equal more than a season. With Lamar, he's missed a decent amount. I'm not saying Josh Allen has yet, but you never know. You know what I'm saying? Cam Newton has missed a good amount of football in his short career. Right. So,
no, I got a question to that point. You know, so do you think that because I think back like Michael Vick. Michael Vick, did he deal with a lot of injuries?
Nah.
You know, so I didn't think that he did. I didn't think that he did, but I think of Haskins. Haskins was a little mobile, wasn't he?
Yeah, but he was a bigger, like he was like a.
He was a bigger body. Yeah, he was a big, but he was a little mobile.
Haskins wasn't too mobile though. He was kind of like a McNabb type of mobile. Like he could scramble.
Okay. Oh, actually, that's why I was thinking about McNabb.
He wasn't the guy that you was gonna have pull.
He not juking nobody. He not about to hit no stiff.
Yeah, you don't want him pulling that read like that.
I was actually thinking of McNabb. I jumped to Haskins because where I was gonna go with all of this is I just feel like RG3 kind of popped off a lot of this stuff, you know what I mean, with the quarterback injuries, not to put it on RG3, but it's kind of like the Derrick Rose, you know, with the PGs, with just the explosive PGs. And we're like, oh, we love it. We love to see this. We love that explosive quarterback who can run, you can throw the ball, all these yards, you can do all this stuff. But then you sit back and you like a lot of these guys are hurt. And if you're looking over to your point, you know, these quarterbacks are not gonna last. These guys have been hurt, like it's their lower body that's hurt way more than anything. Like back when we were growing up, the quarterbacks, their shoulders were hurt, their arm or something like that up top, their torso, rib might be broken from getting hit, but not their legs. Like a lot of these guys can't play because something's torn on their legs or their hips is messed up or something, like or their ankle. You know, and I think that's common now. It's very, very weird that people think that this is the way to go.
Yeah, that's valid, man.
Like a run. I said this, man. I had a conversation about, you know, quarterbacks, like was an individual, like somewhere in the past. And I was saying this, I'm like, bro, I don't want no running quarterback. I don't want that for my team. It looks sexy. It's sexy. It's like getting a Ferrari, right? You got all the features, and that bit nice. It's nice. It's a nice car. It's fast. It does everything you want to do. But when you hit a pothole, and then you got to get a new tire. That's $20,000. You're like, woo wee. Now you rethinking that Ferrari. You know what I'm saying? That's a running quarterback. You know.
Yeah, you got to win it now. You can't think. That's why the thing I love about I'm not what to say love. I love Jalen Hurts and I love what he's doing with Philly, but I'm nervous because it's like, okay, we got our quarterback for the future, but how long is this future though? You know what I'm saying? So it's like with running quarterbacks, you got to get that championship real early or it's not going to be well, you know? And I look at one team that did it well and realized and was okay taking a step back with Russ, because think about when Russell Wilson first came into the league, he was the read option quarterback. And then as his career evolved, you weren't seeing him running that much designed. You would see him scramble, and that's different compared to a designed run. You know what I'm saying? So, because with a design run, you're probably going to run. I mean, with a scramble, you're probably going to run where there's no linebackers or anybody in that area. So you could easily just run out of bounds or slide. But on a design run, you're heading straight towards the traffic, usually. So, and I see that with Seattle, they got their ring early with him. So then they were able to pull back on the running so much and using his number one capability, which was to run. And then they were able to develop his passing. Say again?
Kansas City did that same thing.
They did too. His MVP year, they saw how good he was running and said, okay, let's fall back. They got the championship. It even fell back even more. So, you know, that's like
his weapons to develop a lot more, because then you start to see Kelsey. All right, Kelsey, let's go ahead and you shine now, because we can't have our quarterback keep taking these hits. So we need you to shine in the sense where if he's about to get hit, he's got to run, or he feels like he needs to do this, you need to be open. I need to be able to dump it down to you. I need to be able to launch it off to you. You need to be available. And I think Kelsey really started to take those steps, you know, after, like you say, his MVP year, like Patrick Mahomes' MVP year, and then Kelsey kind of saw what he needed to do. Kittle was doing his thing over there. He started working with Kittle, and Kelsey really, like, you started seeing him take those steps.
Yep, that's exactly what they needed to do, and that's what I hope Philly does do. You know, I hope we start to fall back just a little bit, you know, still try to go get that bowl, but find a way to get it without having to run too hard. But I think that's why we got so many running backs. We got Penny, we got Boston Scott, we got Gainwell, we got there. Apparently, we might be trying to make a move for Jonathan Taylor, which I don't think we'll be able to get him, but I would love to see it happen.
You're gonna have to trade some pieces for that.
Yeah, I don't think the picks will be enough. I think Indianapolis wants more. Irsay is very hard-headed when it comes to things. So, you know, I think he's going to demand a lot if we were to even think about possibly getting Jonathan Taylor. But I think that's the best step we can do, is to get enough running backs to where we don't have to run Jalen as much. And then, you know, we did well receiver-wise by getting A.J. Brown for him. So we'll have to see about it. But yeah, let's dabble out of football real quick, and we tap into the NBA world. What's going on with Damian Lillard, man? I've been hearing some things about. We all know he wants to go to the Heat, but we're also hearing some other things about another player that wants to go to the Heat. So who wants to break that down real quick?
As the Miami Heat fan, I got you. So basically, Damian Lillard did an interview, and in the interview, it was the information you got from the interview was basically what you already know. He would like to go to Miami. Yeah, we already know that. He wants out of Portland. Yeah, we already know that. But the thing that you need to understand is he can't talk about it that much. It's like someone who's in a court case. You can't talk about the court case while the case is going on. And it's the same thing for Damian Lillard at this point, where he wants to go to Miami. And he can't talk about it until after the trade deadline, and basically after this season. It's already been known. Him and his agent have let it been known that he don't want to be in Portland no more, and he wants to be in Miami. And Portland is asking for they're not asking for a lot, but they're asking for they want the Louis bag, the Gucci bag, and inside the Louis and the Gucci bag, they want Louis and Gucci clothes.
Most definitely. That team just made it to the NBA Finals, so they're gonna want that. You know what I'm saying?
They're gonna want that from Miami, but you gotta also understand for what Miami's giving you, it's like, okay, bet this is the best we're gonna give you. Look at that what you're giving you, because they don't offer them up Tyler Hero, they don't offer up Duncan Robinson, Kyle Lowry, and like 4 or 5 picks on top of that, and they're like, that's not enough. And it's like, damn, what else you want? Because you ain't about to get Jimmy and Bam. And I don't know what else you would like. You ain't about to take all the picks.
Yeah.
So right then, Portland's really more like, well, we want the best offer, and everybody else in the league is just like, well, Dame already let it be known if he coming here, he don't want to be here. He's not going to be happy. He's not going to really give it his all since he don't want to be there. And
Yeah, he'll tank. Your record won't be good.
yeah, and he's already been set that he don't want to go nowhere other than Miami. So that's where Damian Lillard's standing. And Miami's sitting there basically like just waiting for Portland just to give in on the trades. But also Portland could be, the longer they take, it's a possibility that Miami is moving their face and turning a different way, looking at a different superstar who's happened to be sitting there on the bench or sitting there in the same gym as the head coach Eric Spoelstra, who is Anthony Edwards right now, who has come out multiple times in multiple interviews saying how he loves the Miami Heat culture, which as a Miami Heat fan, I would love to have either Damian Lillard or Anthony Edwards, to be honest with you. Like, I prefer, if it was me, I prefer Anthony Edwards because he's younger and I know we can keep him longer. Damian Lillard would be great. I would love Anthony, but I'm a huge fan of the future. I'm always going to bet on the future. Like, I might have been one of the only fans that freaked out, was like, why would the Lakers give up LeBron just to get Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, all these guys? I might have been one of the only fans that was like, they shouldn't have done that. They should have just LeBron. They didn't need to trade away everything just to get LeBron.
Oh, well, LeBron did get them a ring, though. Come on now.
They did that to get AD. They traded all that to get AD.
Oh,
yeah.
Sorry. They did it to get AD. My bad.
And without LeBron would not have, in the bubble, I don't think that team would have helped LeBron get a ring. I don't even think he would have been in the.
I'm okay with that. I give up one ring.
But
I'm talking
what?
about.
Let me ask you this though.
Look at what.
Would you take Kuz or BI?
Look at all the players they had that they've had over the years at the same time and where they're at right now. Like,
okay, who did they really give up? They gave up BI.
They gave up BI, Josh Hart, Lonzo, and a big. It was a big, I believe.
I can't remember.
Randall?
I don't think it was Randall.
They did give up.
Was Randall already gone?
They gave up Randall because Randall ended up going. He ended up getting traded to New Orleans.
I think he was already out of there though.
But he ended up He traded to New Orleans. He ended up.
Yeah, but I think he was already out of there before LeBron got there.
Yeah, I think he might actually. Yeah, I don't think he ever really played with LeBron. I'm sure.
Well, only people who really played with LeBron was Ingram and Ball, ain't it?
Well, okay. Either way, if I'm evaluating at least the top couple of players,
he was in it.
Who Randall was?
Julius Randle. Pelicans agreed to a contract after. No, actually. Hold on. Let me.
Because the way I'm looking at it is these are all the players that were on that team. Really,
he left the Lakers.
This was before LeBron. I'm talking about before LeBron, right? Because you had to make space to get LeBron. So you at one point in time, Lakers all had Lonzo Ball, Josh Hart, Julius Randle, Brandon Ingram. They had Jordan Clarkson. They also had, I can't remember what the dude's name, Zubac. They had Zubac all at the same time. Like, these are all key players that you would love to have on your team as role players. All they were missing was maybe one or two pieces from there. And now
you gotta make moves in order to get these stars, like you say.
No, man.
1 and 2, I would do that to win.
Just to get one ring.
I would do that to win, though, yes. And I mean, I think on top of that too, because you got to understand, we're in win now mode. LeBron James can't play for the next 10 years. We don't know when LeBron like they were expecting a decline by this time. You know what I mean? Like, it was calling this man a washed king 5 years ago.
I don't think if they kept any of those players, any of them would have been able to get them a ring, because at the end of the day, any team that has a ring has a number one player. That team, those pieces that you were talking about, none of those guys are number ones. Those are all a bunch of number twos, and that's why their record was before. No, none of them are number ones right now.
Brandon Ingram is the number one on the New Orleans Pelicans. He is
on the New Orleans Pelicans.
And if you put him on a different spot, he still is. What you mean?
I don't know about that. But to your so to that point, let me ask you this though, because you said you would always go with the younger over the older. If we could go back, I would take Bi and I would keep Bi and Senkus.
I'll be okay with that.
But he was older, and that was the reason why they kept Kuz, because he was younger. So I think because I'm, and the reason why I'm saying
like a year or two younger. It's not we
Kuz is yeah, maybe a year or two, but he was I think maybe a couple more years than that, bro.
Kuz came in the league, and Ingram was only in the league for like 2 or 3 years by that time.
I'm about to look up the ages. Brandon
Because I'm about to say, by the time LeBron got to the Lakers with Brandon Ingram, Ingram was on that team for like 3 years, I want to say. Because Ingram was there for Kobe's last year. I'm trying to remember. I want to say he was
actually,
there for
you're right. Because
Kuz
is actually older.
Yeah, it's just Bi. I think Bi got in younger because he went to like Duke or something.
Yeah, Bi did get in a little bit younger, and his legs.
Kuzma, I don't even know where Kuzma went to school.
But I feel like tying back to the convo of the Anthony Edwards and Damian Lillard. I like Anthony Edwards, but I think Anthony Edwards going there he's gonna have to go there and go be D Wade more so, in the sense where it's like this his squad, not with Jimmy. And I think it would be better to see Dame over there to win now with the team that they have, because I think Anthony Edwards, he's still got a couple strides that he's got to take, and I see him taking it right now in the Team USA. I love the way that he's being able to like penetrate the mid range and just get his buckets right there, because that's when you become an elite 30-point scorer. If you look at all the 30-point plus scorers, their mid range is where they get a lot of their buckets at.
Oh yeah, so, I agree with you. I totally agree. To me, what I'm looking at is what is the purpose of sacrificing we don't know what Tyler Hero is going to be. We don't right now.
We know what he is.
He's not. No, we don't. Tyler Hero could go into the lab one summer and become a whole different.
Tyler Hero's.
He's been the same. He's been the same guy for at least 4 or 5 seasons.
No. Let's look at Jaylen Brown. Let's look at Jaylen Brown, for example. We did not think Jaylen Brown was going to be this level of a player when Jaylen Brown got there. And I think if the Celtics thought that he was going to be, you wouldn't have went and drafted Jason Tatum the next year like they did. You know what I mean? Because you would have built around Jaylen Brown. We think that he's going to be the future. We wouldn't have been like, we need another guy because we got Robin over here. You know what I mean? And Jaylen Brown has inflated to what we can consider a Batman potential.
And it goes back to the original argument that Najee presented to what he was talking about, how he would be a fan if they kept Ingram, kept Randolph, because you don't know. Like, it's like a lot of you pick is really like a lot of you pick. Like, it might be $100 million, but you thinking, oh, I'm gonna sell it now because it's I got $1 million on the table. You know, I can go get LeBron. I could go get a proven thing, but then you don't know, like you said, you don't know the potential that. Now you got 2 superstars in Boston. You could have had 4 superstars in one lineup in LA. Potentially.
In one lineup and had them for cheap for a home price.
Potentially. But then I'm looking at my challenge is LeBron. You got to understand when because LeBron didn't get traded there. LeBron said, I'm going to LA. Jenny was like, all right, bet. They got the deal done. You know, okay, cool. I'm signing. When you get a LeBron James on your team, everything changes. We saw it over there with Cleveland. Like, everything changes. You know what I mean? To the point, like, even when Kobe was there, it was like everything once Kobe, you know, he just was homegrown. But when Kobe left, everything changed. We was like, what the fuck is this? It was a shit show. You know what I mean? So it's like these level of players, you can't have all of those stars on the team with him. Not to like, it's like you just can't, because they need the ball to shine. You know what I mean? Like, Julius Randle was not Julius Randle that we see for the Knicks and the Pelicans, nor was he for the Lakers. And I don't see him ever having this opportunity to become what he's became without the route that he had.
But here's my thing, right? When LeBron left Cleveland, it took them years to get literally back to the playoffs. I think he left them in 2019, something like that, or 2018. I want to say 2018 maybe, and they just got back to the playoffs this year. And but my thing is, okay, when Kobe left the Lakers, it took them a while to get back to the playoffs. And LeBron literally showed up, and it was like, okay, I don't even think they made the playoffs the first year he got there. I don't remember off the top of my head. I don't think they made it. And all of a sudden, that next
Nah, they
year,
didn't. He was hurt though. He was
hurt
he
majority
got
of the time.
hurt
And that next following year, he literally he wiped the whole entire locker room clean. Everybody that was up in there was gone.
for AD.
For AD. Which then all of a sudden they win the chip, and now they're contenders now. But LeBron James' career is kind of toning down. AD's career is still just stagnant. There's nothing bad about his career. Nothing bad about it. It's just stagnant. It's like he's not the greatest player. He's not. He's just there. We don't know. My thing is that future that you hauled away. Like, because they gave away tons of picks. Gave away picks. Right now, they begging for picks that they can hope they can get draft picks now, because they done traded away basically every draft pick they done had. The thing about that is, when you give away all that stuff, you basically don't have no future. Because we can say this is LeBron last year, and all of a sudden you don't have a draft pick almost to 2029 or 2028. So whatever you could get, you can get from either free agency or whatever possible team whatever superstars you could build from there, or any role players you could build from there, because you ain't got no draft picks. You gave that all away. And my thing, just swinging it back to Miami, right now, we just got a bunch of role players, really just glorified role players right now. And Jimmy just happened to be that one star that's surrounded by glorified role players that got us there, or a bunch of people that nobody wanted. When you get rid of like Tyler Hero, who's averaged 20 this year, he averaged 20 by himself. He's the lead scorer. I want to say he was our top 2 lead scorer. He averages 20 by himself. So once you get rid of that, and he's young, Tyler Hero, I want to say he is like 23, 24. That's great age just to have him for right now, which is the best thing to have. And we're gonna give that away for Damian Lillard, which I once again, I have no problem with Damian Lillard, but we coming to the end of Damian Lillard's career now. So it's like,
I mean, yeah, but if you want to win now, because you got to think about this too, though. I'm sorry to cut you off, but in the careers, you got Eric Spoelstra and Pat Riley. These niggas not about to be there for the rest of their lives. Like, well, I mean, I don't think they got that much, you know what I mean? Like that much longer type tip, like, you know, like not to put anything on them.
Say that for Pat.
You know, so it's like, bro, they trying to make these moves to try to win now. And I do have a question to what you were saying, because I have to ask, is Tyler Hero going to be an all-star or superstar one day?
He should be an all-star.
No, that's what I was trying to get at earlier. I don't think he's that guy.
Why not? I don't see that.
How long has he been playing? He's been playing with the Heat for 4 years. Because what was the year they made it to the championship in the bubble? How was that, year 1 or 2?
Year one.
That was year 1? Okay. Since then, I haven't really seen anything different from that year he went off in the bubble. Like, I haven't seen anything like different that's elevated him. So,
Sixth man of the year.
He can hoop. Don't get me wrong, bro. Can hoop, but I don't see him taking a step past. Like, I just can't see him being an all-star. Like, I don't see him ever being an all-star.
Past being a 6-man.
Yeah, like, I mean, no, he could be a starter. He'll be a decent starter on the team. I can't lie about that. But I mean, like a Miles Bridges, like you got Miles Bridges, you got Tyler Hero right there. Or I mean, is it Miles? No, not Miles.
Markel,
yeah, Markel Bridges, and you got Tyler Hero. I mean, shoot, Markel. I'm taking Markel. That man 2-way.
As of right now, you will take Markel because Markel's on his own team by himself.
No, I mean, I was taking Markel when he was with the Suns. He's a 2-way, and he was effective. He was giving you 15 to 20. Tyler Hero over there by himself, and he just giving me 20 because Jimmy not trying to go get 20. Who else trying to go get 20 over there?
Nobody yet.
Really, just Jimmy, Bam, and Tyler. Really, the only people who giving me 20. And that's what I said. We literally just
Bam
have
not
a
gonna
bunch
give
of-
you 20.
We just give you glorified role players that happens to play as a team. There's no actual real star on this team. That's where it's like, okay,
Right.
give this guy the ball. He needs to have the whole entire show, which we don't have. Which sometimes I'm like, man, that's a good thing. But then I'm like, fuck, man, we need a guy who could score. Like we could give.
That's why I think Dame might be better
That's
because
what Dame.
Ant isn't that guy either where it's like give him the ball the whole game, because you look at it with Minnesota, it's still not, he's not that guy that you want to have the ball the whole game.
I
So
ain't gonna say
that I like Ant because Atlanta brothers thrive in Miami. So I know he would love it down there. You know what I'm saying? I know he would do his thing, but I think if Miami is looking for a guy that they could give the ball to score the entire game, Dame is a better option.
It ain't even.
Ant can be like that, but he has to take the steps to improve it. He's not that right
you got
now.
Ant and Jimmy, you can score the entire game.
Jimmy could give if I give the ball.
Okay,
to
that might help. I can see
give
that.
the ball to Jimmy for 3 quarters, and I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
Ant, finish us off.
Cooking.
Hey, yo, Ant, finish the rest of this fourth quarter off. Just for you can have the ball all by yourself. I'm like, okay, bet. I can guarantee that, and I'm okay with that. And the only reason I'm an advocate for both of them. I want both. I'm okay with that. But to me, I'm like, man, have Dame for 3 years, have Ant for possibly 8 years. I'm like,
Facts.
that's why I'm like, it's like right there on that teeter where it's like,
Yeah, because you probably only got Jimmy for like 6.
and I have Jimmy for 6. So it's like,
Yeah.
it's a possibility whenever Jimmy leaves, I could just hand the keys over to Ant and we good.
Yeah, because Dame and Jimmy might leave around the same time, low
Same
key.
as that time, and it's like,
Yeah.
damn,
Right.
bro, we invested all that time.
And he get that.
But that's what them boys were saying with AD. I know
Exactly.
AD was with New Orleans longer. Go ahead, Cooley. My bad.
Nah, I was just saying, if Ant go to Miami, he gonna get that first-hand championship experience from Jimmy. You don't think that nigga Ant go to Miami and he get under the wing of Jimmy, and Jimmy gonna give him the blueprint. And then once Jimmy leave, it's like a rinse and repeat, just like
Honestly, though, I don't think that. Honestly, I challenge that because I think you put Dame on that system right now, it's a win now team. But I don't think if you put AE over there right now, it's a win now team. And I love AE. I love him. I think he's gonna be the star of the league and surpass Ja and Zion, all of those guys. But I don't think that he's that right now. That's my opinion.
I would say every year Miami Heat ain't a win now team. I'm saying that as a fan. I'm like, man, sometimes I'm like, bro, what, Pat? Come on, bro, we got to make some type of moves. And I know when they pop up, we happen to be like the 8th seed in the playoffs. And it was like, all right, we made it in. That's good enough. That's a win for me. And then all of a sudden, we in the conference finals. So it's like every year it's the same thing. And to make it crazy is the East not getting better. Like nobody in the East has really gotten better at all. And we've stayed stagnant the whole time. All these years we've stayed exactly the same. We haven't changed nothing at all. And the way I only see Ant in Miami is like how I see how Jimmy was with Dwayne and when they was in Chicago. Jimmy basically like listened to Dwayne and was like, and Wade was like, bro, you might as well just go to Miami. And he ended up in Miami because that's just what he was like. Hey, I'm telling you, you'll fit better there. And it's kind of in that ballpark of what Cooley was saying, that Ant might end up if he comes to Miami, he'll be under that wing of Jimmy. Whereas that Heat culture, it just click. If you click with it, you click with it. And I'd rather have Ant for 8+ years and get a chance to possibly get 2 or 3 rings, where I only have Dame for maybe 5 or 6, maybe 5 years at the max, and we might get 1 ring.
I like how you said y'all aren't a win now culture. I mean, win now team. Like y'all haven't made the most historical win now move I've ever seen in my life. Picking LeBron and Chris Paul. Y'all invented the super team. But okay.
I'm talking about like right now.
I mean,
yeah.
I don't agree with that though. I think that I think Miami comes into it every year, bro, with the mindset of win now. I think that everybody downplays Miami, and that's what fucks everybody up. You know what I'm saying? Because Pat Riley is a winner. He's not a guy who's just about to go into this season like, we're losing.
Hold on.
That's not Pat Riley.
I want to correct it now. When I think about win now, I'm thinking about teams where they trade everybody just to get one player, or they trade everybody just to get a superstar. Miami don't do to just trade everybody just to get one player.
Well, I don't know who really does that. That's not. No, I don't think anybody really does that.
A lot of teams
consistently though. Like who's known for doing that though?
Look at Phoenix. Look at what Phoenix just did to get KD. Like
But I'm saying that's just the one time they've done it. I'm saying like who does that consistently? Who's constantly resetting the roster?
But I think to Najee's point, Miami doesn't do it at all. You know what I'm saying? Like
because I don't think they did it to even get LeBron because you already had D-Wade there. I don't think they had to.
They didn't gut their team to get those people. So you know what I mean. So to that point, I mean, of course, it was a different team, but they didn't gut it and go get trash. You know what I mean? Like like Andre Iguodala, he was on a podcast and he was talking about how like they looking at guys from high school, like they pick their guys really really early. So Miami definitely has a great system. I just think that with the system that they have, Dame would be a better player because you already have guys that can get downhill with Jimmy, who can score 30 with his middies, who can score 30 with the three, he can get to the rim. But you get a Dame who is a deep threat, and that's gonna stretch the court, I believe, a lot more and allow them to win now versus Anthony Edwards, who's gonna be a star. Like he's like you say, in 8 years, they're handing the keys to him. You know what I mean? If he goes over there, because regardless of what anybody like, he's gonna score 30. That's gonna happen. But I just think that it'll take a step back for the team, for where they're trying to go, because it's gonna be like Jimmy and him doing the same thing.
I'm gonna say it's like, do you prefer to win now or do you prefer to win later? That's how I see it. It's like,
Facts.
Which one do you rather? What do you want? Do you want to win now or would you rather just win later? Because like what I'm saying is my problem is the teams that do like the win now, right? For right now, Phoenix Suns, right? They done traded everybody. They done traded all their picks. They getting scraps off the street just to fill the bench up right now, just so they could be happy with KD, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal, and they broke because they ain't got no money because they done put all their money to them. And it's like, okay, y'all want to win now. So now what happens if you lose? Because then guess what? KD, he's getting around that time. We got to start talking about him sooner or later retiring soon. He ain't young no more. His body is ailing, is hurt. Bradley Beal body's breaking down on him. Devin Booker just finally got his like first real major injuries last year, so that's starting to creep up on him. So it's like those things like that where it's like, okay, you don't trade your house, your family, and everybody away just for you to win now.
Damn, not the family.
I'm telling you, you traded everybody away.
The wife, the kids, the dog.
The dog ain't the.
He lying.
I'm just scouting at the G League, hoping somebody could come up out there.
Oh,
They
man.
just picking up friends now. Like they literally just signing people friends.
Anybody. So it's like, bro, you want to win now so bad, but you want to win now in a conference that you barely a contender. You only a contender with the three names that's on your top of your list, and those three names barely play games because they could barely make it through a season. But you want to win now. And I guarantee you, they about to be sitting there trading. They're gonna trade away the ice maker and anything that's not glued down. They could have drafted.
Yeah,
I think
super teams
that's
really work with guys in their prime.
I think that's true. I think but I do think over there with the Lakers, I mean, when they traded for AD was over there doing monstrous stuff with the Pelicans, and now he's just like it's like now it's like, bro, go back to the fried chicken and everything if that's what you was eating, bro. Like I don't know. I don't know what was different, bro, but
That
like
man got that good New Orleans food. He's
it's,
out there eating the LA food. I'm gonna
get
be
your
honest with
po'
you. LA
boys, you
food,
know what I'm
Steak.
saying?
Garbicio. I've never had good food in LA. I don't.
So I
He out here
just
like
I don't
it's
know.
just stuff like that, man. Where I'm like, man, that's why sometimes I'm like, okay, Miami. As a fan, I'm like, okay, every year I'm like, we could do something with this because all we got to do is just get to the playoffs. That's really the goal, just make it to the playoffs. And I'm like, we could do something with this. How far we gonna go? Ain't no telling. Ain't no telling how far we gonna go. We might get bounced out at the first round. Shit, we might make it to the championship. Ain't no telling. It ain't no telling. But hey, I would love to have Damian Lillard. But if we could get Anthony Edwards instead, that ain't a bad fall off.
Yeah, man, that was a good conversation. Talking a little bit of Trey Lance and Dak and the Cowboys' future, as well as Ant and Damian Lillard and everybody else in the NBA. But now we're gonna, get into the weekly segments that you guys love to hear. Najee, go ahead and tell them what's the wrestling match of the week in the news in general.
Hey, what's going on, people? What's going on, peoples? This week, I'm sorry to tell you, right now I ain't got no wrestling match of the week. I've been preparing for this wrestling event that just occurred this past Sunday. We had AEW All in London, when them boys went and sold out the Wembley Stadium with 80,000+ fans. They packed it out. Man, the event, I watched it from over here in Cali. It started at 10 o'clock this morning. It was dope. I'm telling you, it was straight up from the jump, really from the pre-show all the way through. We had a lot of action, whole lot of hardcore matches going on. We had like my boy Hook versus Jungle Boy, Jack Perry. We had the Stadium Stampede featuring my boy Eddie Kingston, the Mad King, taking on his team, taking on John Moxley. Them boys went in there, made my boy Terry Funk proud with some hardcore wrestling. We had a lot of action. Also a trios match with the House of Black versus the Acclaim and Billy Gunn. Next week I should have some clips for y'all or a match that really stood out to me. I'm gonna go back and watch it again. But also this week when the new episode, because this episode drops this Tuesday, on that Friday, you guys need to check out a new episode of We're WrestleManiacs 2 with me, your boy Playboy Troy, and my co-host Izzy Too Real, where we sit there, we go over, we're gonna be reviewing and showing our thoughts of AEW All In. We'll be talking about that. We also got some topics that we're gonna be talking about. You should check out past episode 8, where we did an era versus era, where I started watching wrestling and when I was born, but in the early 2000s. Izzy Too Real been watching since like the 80s, so he's been watching for a while now. So we just did, clash of eras, that new school versus that old school. We just dove into it. One of our topics was, which era would you like to bring back? So you guys need to go check that out at We're WrestleManiacs 2 with your boy Izzy Too Real and Playboy Troy. And right now, I'm gonna go ahead and kick it over to my boy Melly Mel for the soccer goal of the week.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate that. Make sure y'all check WrestleManiacs 2. They got that episode dropping on Friday, man. But yeah, appreciate the kick to me. We gonna another goal of the week, man. Messi, he keeps doing it. I watch soccer almost every single day. I'm always got international matches here in the United States. Women's and men's college soccer season has just started, but none of their goals have been able to match what this man can do. I might just have to make a separate segment for this man. The man is just going crazy. And it's really not even more about his goal. It's more about the ball movement that got the goal going, So I'm gonna kick it right here. The man, Jordi Alba, his former Barcelona, bicycle pass to Messi. Messi says, you know what? Playing it all the way out wide to Kramaski, who comes out of nowhere, and Messi just finishes it just like that. I'm telling you, the man is unstoppable. I don't know how he does it. He had just came on to the match too. It was like the 70th minute, so he had only been on like 15, 20 minutes. and instantly scores a goal. But it's really the pass from Jordi Alba that starts it up. I've never seen a bicycle pass. I've seen bicycle shots, but the man passes it to Messi. Messi plays it wide to Kremasky. I didn't see it. I was watching the game live. I know the camera had it like that, but Kremasky came out of nowhere. And I'm just like, wow, I don't see how he does it. Because me personally, if I was Messi right there, I would have took that shot. That's a shot I'm taking. But he played it all the way wide to damn near the back line and then gets it played right back to him. Some of the defense is on you. It's like you got to have eyes on Messi. You just let him slip right through right there. But either way, beautiful goal, beautiful setup, beautiful ball movement. I love how this man has only been here for a month and already has the team chemistry, the camaraderie. Everyone's IQ is up. He's kind of had that LeBron effect of like how he's going to make everybody play better. Because these guys were not that, they were at the bottom of the MLS, and now they possibly are about to make a playoff run if they continue this good run, which I don't see that stopping because Messi has yet to lose in a match at all. So we'll see. That's the goal of the week. Be on the lookout for more of his matches. He should have another match coming up this week. I don't know who they play, but right. This was his first official MLS game. All those other games earlier were cup games for like tournaments that he was in. But this one, because now also in Cincinnati earlier this week, he won another cup match. So now he's going to another final for another cup. So the U.S. Open Cup, I believe. So be on the lookout for that match. And also just be on the lookout for the weekly matches that he'll have until October, because right now his attempt is to get this team from the bottom rankings to at least playoff potential, which would be at I think if they need to get to like the 7th or 8th seed to possibly make the playoffs. So that's his mission now. No, it's no longer winning another cup right now. He got the U.S. Open Cup that he's going to have coming up, but his main focus is trying to get this team into the playoffs. So we're going to see what he does with that. But with that, I'm going to kick it over to my boy Pat, and we're going to get a little bit physical.
Yo, what's going on? What's going on? Let's start it off nice. Come on now. Hey. We getting physical, y'all. Real quick, hopping in here. This is just the workout that we're going to do. Not tomorrow. Tomorrow is chest and traps. But tomorrow, not traps. I'm sorry. Chest and tries. But this is going to be done maybe a little bit later in the week, maybe like Wednesday, Thursday, around that time. But you see, we got the military press, seated Arnold press, the power side lats, verse lats, shrugs, curls. And if you guys got any questions about any of this, of course, you can always DM us. Heavily Opinionated Podcast. I'm talking a little fast. Let me slow it down. The Heavily Opinionated Podcast. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, of course. So if you got any questions, one of the main things that I would like to let you guys know is, and I stress this every episode, is take it easy. Take it slow. You know what I mean? So don't try to jerk in these workouts, nothing like that. If it's too much weight, go down. Go to a weight that you feel like you can easily do the workout, and then build up from there. But make sure you're building that form, and just make sure that you're not hurting yourself while you're doing this, because you can easily pull a muscle, easily hurt one of your muscles, because working out, you're breaking your muscles and pretty much building them back together, and they're building back, stronger and bigger and stuff of that nature, as long as you're putting the right things in your body in the kitchen and getting the right rest that you need. And that is important. So I stress, I go in there maybe 3 to 5 days, depending on how I'm feeling that week, depending on how hard and how tough my workouts is. You know what I'm saying? So that's getting physical with Pat. But I think I need a little bit of knowledge. So I'm going to kick it over to my boy Cooley, and let's get some wisdom of the week.
It's your boy Cooley High. We're wisdom of the week. And this week, our wisdom for the week is be good to yourself. Be kind to yourself. I'm going to dedicate this one out to all the people, whoever out there. If you're going through something, if you're going through a loss or a tragedy, or, you just having a bad couple days, take take some time out for yourself. Go on a walk. Take a much needed nap. Meditate. Speak positive words. Like if you find yourself in a bad situation, just know that situation isn't yo. Just know that situation isn't forever. Like for every rainstorm, it's gonna be some sunlight coming right around the corner. So while going through what you're going through, speak positive things to yourself. Because if you speak negative, that begins them words, your mind, your body, it remembers all that. So that eventually becomes your reality. That becomes your frequency. So if you speak positive, even when you're going through whatever you're going through, just try to control what you can control, which is your mindset about it. Try to look for the lesson in it. And that's wisdom of the week, man. Speak positive words to yourself. Whether you're going through it or whether you prosper, speak positive and stay in the fight. You can lay down, but don't stay down. And that's wisdom of the week.
All right. Yes, that was a good episode. It's a little bit shorter than usual, but we still hold it down over here at Heavily Opinionated. We talked a little bit about Dak and everything. We got through the segments, also talked some NBA. But we just want to appreciate y'all for rocking with us. Episode 23, Jordan number, baby. You know what I'm saying? Kobe, we coming after you next week. No pause. But just keep the episodes coming, man. Appreciate y'all for rocking with us.
That was
that was wild. I was like, nobody's gonna stop me. All right.
I was gonna let Cooley get his get back, but
we just passed his day.
That shit is crazy.
I know, man. I'm sorry.
Also,
Super
Paul.
Rest in peace. Rest in
peace
to Cole.
They about to get this man a statue outside. I forgot about that.
That's valid.
Actually, let's talk about. I mean, all right. I don't want to minimize Kobe getting the statue. He getting it next year, February. Y'all can catch us when we talk about it for sure. But shoot, I left out my boy Barry getting his statue finally. Come on,
Barry Sanders.
Barry Sanders, yes.
You getting the statue outside for the arena stadium?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's solid. That's valid. He should. So Kobe's getting one. Does anybody else already have one?
Outside the Staples Center?
I don't know. I ain't never been there.
No, I'm asking you. Outside the Staples Center?
Yeah. No, Pat said, what you mean? Like, I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Who else got a statue?
Shaq got one. Magic got one.
Kareem got one.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
It's an announcer, a commentator that got one out there, I think.
Okay, that's solid.
They're known for all their statues. They got a bunch of statues out there.
Nice.
It's like I want to say just like Green Bay Packers. Green Bay Packers got a bunch of statues out there in front of their place.
Oh yeah, that's valid. They got. I think they was the first Super Bowl champions. Yeah, I think so.
So to Barry Sanders statue, the Detroit Lions, they're unveiling that before the opener versus the Seahawks this year. So
Kansas City. It's Kansas City. They playing Kansas City. They about to get that ass whooped.
Know your team, Pat. Jeez.
I mean, that's not my team, but from what I'm seeing on this, it says
home opener. You know what?
Yeah,
You're right. You got it. Home opener.
opener.
Yeah, I guess they go into Kansas City. I don't know why I thought Detroit would be playing a home game against Kansas City.
Man, Jamel, mind your business, bro.
You're right. That's me. I'm lurking too hard.
You know what I'm saying? But hey, y'all be on the lookout for that, man. Shout out to that man, Barry Sanders, 22. You know what I'm saying? Let's go.
That was his number? That's nice. Okay. I barely remember Barry. I don't even know if we really was he.
Why we acting
was he like 90s?
We all know who Barry Sanders is. Chill out. We don't know. We all
no, people know Barry
y'all
Sanders.
Y'all may not.
You gotta know Barry Sanders.
We all remember Barry Sanders. Ain't nobody.
I don't remember him playing or nothing like that.
But I've seen plenty of highlights. I've seen plenty of highlights of Barry Sanders. Being that I'm from Michigan, there's plenty of people growing up. My uncles, my cousins, like my brother, they be like, shit, these guys was hard. But, like if you in Detroit, bro, you got to know, like, Detroit niggas don't like nothing new. Like they go talk about everything that happened when they was growing up, bro. Like they would be like, nah, this shit cool, but
back in my day,
back in my day, when we was doing,
I think that's where that trend started. The trend started here in Detroit.
They do not like nothing new, like at all.
Facts. Oh yeah, we was on the outro. My bad, y'all. We was trying to get up out of here. All right, well, we gonna get up out of here, y'all. Appreciate y'all for rocking with episode 23. Stay tuned for episode 24, man. And don't forget to stay heavily opinionated.